Quiet. Don't move.
What was that?
A berserker.
Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we'll be exploring the Locust Horde featured in the Gears of War game series created by Epic Games. The Locust Horde, often called the Locust Army by humans and the Horde by the Locusts themselves, were a race of reptilian humanoids that lived in the subterranean regions of the planet Sera, known as the Hollow. While it's unknown how long these creatures had lived beneath the surface, it has become clear that their creation was the result of miners becoming infected with emulsion, which was a highly volatile, luminescent fuel source found on Sera. These poor souls were gathered by the coalition of ordered governments and moved to the New Hope research facility, where it was believed that a cure would eventually be found. But unfortunately for the miners, the emulsion began to mutate within them, leading to an early form of lambency. This ultimately resulted in the creation of the Sires, which were predecessors of the Locust Horde. Fearful of the media and political responses towards the mutations, the scientists at New Hope sealed the Sires away prior to taking their children to Mount Kadar. The reason for this was that the children were found to have lambency in their cells, which caused them to mutate from birth, turning them into the first generation of the Locust Horde. While humanity, in the form of the COG and the UIR, fought each other over the valuable fuel source in the Pendulum Wars, a conflict that lasted 79 years, the Locust Horde were also fighting their own conflict against the Lambent, which were variants of all life on Sera, including locusts, humans, and animals that had been exposed to emulsion for a prolonged period of time. With their subterranean home becoming overrun with Lambent, exactly 6 weeks after the end of the Pendulum Wars, the Locusts finally burst onto the surface with two primary goals: to populate the surface of Sera with their kind, and to exterminate the human race down to every man, woman, and child in an event that would forever be known as Emergence Day.
Sergeant Phoenix, sir.
You think you can still find your way back home, Phoenix?
Yes, sir.
Reroute those choppers, Lieutenant. They're taking Delta to EVA immediately.
The Locusts were essentially brutish humanoid creatures with toughened skin that were considerably bulkier and much stronger than most human beings, with a few exceptions.
I'm on him. That braver ain't going anywhere.
Their bones were also much heavier, and each of the different types had varying degrees of scarification on their skin, which added further protection. Due to the fact that they were descendant from humans, the species also had much of the same internal makeup, though it is hinted that they had multiple hearts used to pump blood through their enormous bodies. As a result of their evolution in subterranean conditions, the Locust Horde developed the ability to see in total darkness, and were also known to have a refined sense of smell. However, this came at a cost, as the species also had a notable sensitivity to sudden increases in light, a weakness that many of them offset with the use of polarized goggles. The Locust Horde was a matriarchal society divided into multiple castes, and their social class system operated in a similar manner to bees. Queen Myra was the head of the entire Locust Horde and was responsible in leading the species and making decisions for the betterment of their kind, while each of the Horde classes carried out her offensive and defensive strategies without question. I also thought it was interesting that while they loved and revered their queen, the Locust Horde actually had a religion of their own that revolved around the worship of worms. The riftworms and rockworms were viewed as highly significant creatures in their religious texts, and the Trinity of Worms was the symbol and title of their religion. Their sacred texts essentially explained that the riftworms of old had burrowed through Sera's surface and made their way underground, creating the massive underground caverns that would become their home. The riftworms have reportedly also left their waste, which fertilized the soil, bringing life to the hollows and the surface of Sera. This really helped me see the Horde in a new light, as although they were driven out to the surface by the Lambent, which had begun to take over their home, their emergence was also a holy war and a reclamation of land that they actually believed was theirs, no different to many human-led campaigns seen in Earth's history. Their life and internal civil war in the Hollow was also a mirrored reflection of the infighting that took place between the human governments on the surface of Sera, which is why although we play against them as soldiers in the games, they are no more an enemy to humanity than we were to ourselves. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks to all of you guys who requested we take a look at the Locust Horde as featured in the Gears of War game series. I'm thinking of covering the Lambent, the Emulsion, and each of the Locust types in more videos down the track, so please let me know if that's something you guys would like to see in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content. And if there's anything else you'd like to request, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
Nice one, Jack.
Save the truth. That's what they always say. In this case, we're truly doing it. Or at least, we're giving it our very best shot.
What is this?
The trip to Mount Kadar won't be an easy one. Not by any means. We'll have it moved during the night, in the snow. And Chairman won't even authorize the use of vehicles to transport the subjects.
Subjects? Who's he talking about?
Don't know.
I would hate for anyone to disturb the Sera's rest, and we would all like the amazing opportunity to study them as they grow. I'm almost embarrassed to admit that the security system is based off of my personality. But
Jack, what just happened?
They're trying to get out. Should we be trying to help them?
I don't think so. We don't know what's in there. Could be something contaminated or worse.